Welcome, dear keepers of whispers and collectors of stardust, to the velvet-lit corner of the internet where hearts confess and secrets shimmer. Welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Settle in and steady your pulse, because what we are about to unravel is not just another rumor skimming the surface, it is a quake of feeling that rattled timelines, opened old doors, and sent a rush of memory through a fandom that never stopped listening for echoes. The night it began looked harmless, almost sleepy, the digital city muted, every screen a quiet window. And then, with the hush that always precedes thunder, it happened, a post that lasted no more than a heartbeat yet stirred an ocean. The names at the center need no introduction, because when you whisper them together, an entire story lights up like a city at dusk: Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda. Before we dive into this undertow of destiny, longing, and second chances, press that subscribe button so you never miss a tremor, tap the bell to feel the next beat the second it drops, and if you believe in the kind of storytelling that dares to touch raw, unfinished feelings, give this video a like. And for those who want to stand a little closer to the flame, the join button is your pass to the inner circle of Turkish Spotlight Secrets, where we keep watch over every clue the stars leave behind. Now take a breath, because we are about to relive the 10 most charged minutes in recent memory. Gokberk Yildirim, the leading man whose smile can lift a room and whose roles have given voice to 1,000 silent wishes, let something slip into the world. Something we hadn't seen, something painfully real. On his official Instagram, a stage usually reserved for polished posters and carefully framed moments, there appeared a shard of the past. Not a movie still, not a gym mirror victory. It was a moment stolen from the quiet of another time. A photograph with Cemre Arda, bright as dawn yet soft as a secret, their laughter thrown back, eyes sparkling with the electricity only true ease can create, seated at a candlelit table that could have been anywhere, but felt like everywhere to those of us who believe in love's stubborn memory. The chemistry in that frame didn't whisper, it surged, flooding the screen with warmth that felt almost touchable, as if the pixels themselves remembered their rhythm. And yet, the miracle was barely there before it vanished. 10 minutes. Then gone. Gokberk posted it, let it breathe, and pulled it back, as if he realized he had opened his ribcage and showed us the place where the light still lives. But on the internet, a spark can start a wildfire in the time it takes to blink. The guardians of their story, those tireless watchers who know the contours of every gesture, caught it, saved it, shared it. Within minutes, feeds were burning, group chats were exploding, and an old ship slipped back into view on a sea that never forgot it. The questions came like rain. Was it a mistake, a fingertip slipping over the wrong thumbnail, the kind of clumsy error that turns a quiet night into a storm? Or was it a message, launched like a lantern into the dark, a soft, unmistakable beacon pointed at Cemre Arda? The plot thickened with the kind of detail that lights up all the forums at once. The caption, before it evaporated, was almost nothing, which meant it said almost everything: a simple black heart and a date. No quote, no explanation, just a symbol and a number, spare, bare, and devastating. Theories split into 1,000 branches. Was it an anniversary only they remember? The first kiss, the first promise, or the day they stood at the edge and let go, thinking it was for the best? We do not know. But the silence around that date roared. Then the detectives of the fandom zoomed in, not missing a single thread. In that candid, unguarded frame, Seamra wore a very particular necklace. Not any accessory, not a random sparkle, it was the piece Gokberk had placed in her hand during a tender, unscripted moment years ago, a token tied to a true-life memory that outlived red carpets and buzzy premieres. She hadn't been seen wearing it in ages. Yet there it was, gleaming softly like a promise that had chosen not to die. The fact that the photo lived in his private gallery all this time, that he still had it, that he hovered long enough over it to press share, it felt like seeing a heartbeat on a monitor when everyone thought the room had gone still. Friends of Turkish Spotlight Secrets, pause and think with me. How many of us keep one photograph tucked away somewhere, a sudden summer, a borrowed laugh, a look that meant everything, because deleting it would be like erasing part of who we've been? Is this what happened here? Was this a flicker of nostalgia that got ahead of him? Or was it intention dressed as accident, a message in a bottle sent to a single shore? Tell us what you believe in the comments, and if you want us to keep reading the space between the lines with this much care, the join button is the most powerful way to back our late-night investigations of the heart. The wave of reaction was instant and huge. Comment sections turned into confessionals. People wrote that once a connection like theirs imprints, it doesn't wash away. Others begged for a reunion, begged to wake up tomorrow to a new photo, one he keeps this time. Media pressure mounted like heat on glass. And then came the moment that pushed the story from rumor to revelation. Early this morning, outside a gym where he'd just finished pushing his limits, Gokberk found his path blocked by microphones and questions tossed like pebbles at a window. He could have ducked, could have blamed a glitch, could have said his account had been compromised. But he didn't. With a smile witnesses called shaky but irresistible, he let one sentence slip that felt like a door unlocking, that some memories don't expire, and that every now and then you realize you miss the brightness someone once carried into your life. It was not a denial. It was not a dodge. It was the simplest kind of admission. The kind that makes you go quiet because it sounds like truth. He didn't name her, but he didn't need to. Anyone who has watched their orbit knew exactly where that beam of light was pointing. Vulnerability is rare in a world that rewards armor. Hearing it out loud felt like finding water in the desert. Then the world held its breath, eyes fixed on the other half of the constellation. Would Seamra Arda meet him halfway? Would she pretend not to hear? The answer came with the subtlety that has always made her irresistible. Hours after the disappearing post, she uploaded a story that avoided names, but spoke volumes. She shared a love song about inevitable crossings, those paths that, no matter how much you try to send them in opposite directions, curve toward each other again, and added a single line of her own, that what is truly yours finds its path back, even if the door looks closed from the outside. No tagging. No theatrics. A message written in the ink of fate, and every person who has ever loved with both hands felt the truth of it. Is it coincidence? The skeptical brain wants to go there, but the heart knows better. And the rumors, whispered sightings at a few private gatherings, a glance that lasted a shade too long, a brush of energy in the air that made people in the room stop mid-sentence. Picture it. Late night quiet, Gokberk scrolling, memory rising like a tide, courage beating back doubt for one fierce moment. Post. Then the pulse races. He deletes. But the message has already flown. And on the other side of the night, Cemre hears it and answers in her way, with grace instead of noise, with poetry instead of proclamation. The door, it seems, is not latched tight. Perhaps it never was. A close friend, a voice we trust, used to the rhythm of their private storm, confided to a local outlet that the thread between them never really snapped, that it runs too deep for outsiders to map. They would not be shocked if the two have started to speak again, quietly, carefully. Where there is smoke, they said, there is more than ash. There is heat. There are embers refusing to go out. And suddenly, the hope that had been sleeping in all of us sat up. The fandom. This beautiful, fierce community that once watched their on-screen magic and recognized in it something personal, rallied. Petitions, edits, countdowns, wishes. A call rose like a chorus, let them work together again, please, or better yet, give the world the truth of what so many already feel in their bones. How strange and wonderful that one image, one heartbeat of time, could remind a crowd that the people behind the gloss are human. People who ache, people who remember, people who sometimes stumble into honesty and then try to gather it back, forgetting how quickly a flame spreads in the dark. So here we stand at the edge of a cliff we've looked over before. Will there be an official reunion? Will there be a photograph that stays, a caption that doesn't vanish, a moment so current even skeptics can't pretend it's a glitch? The signs point where they almost never do, to yes. Gokberk moved first, even if he tried to fold the moment up and tuck it away. Cemre answered, quietly but unmistakably. The stage feels set, the lights warming, the audience hushed. And we, the watchers and believers, wait with soft hearts and open eyes. Keep your notifications on, because if Gokberk dares another step, or if Cemre speaks with fewer metaphors and more daylight, Turkish Spotlight Secrets will be right here, telling you everything with the devotion this story deserves. What a modern epic this has become, an echo pinging between two hearts over a network of satellites, a tiny symbol and a date waking a sleeping city, a necklace glinting like a lighthouse in a storm. Tell us, do you trust the hand of fate to bring back what never finished saying goodbye? Did their exchange, brief, brave, fragile, move you the way it moved us? We will be in the comments, reading every word, feeling the tremors with you. And if you want to keep this flame lit together, subscribe, like, and join the Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. We will follow every quiet footstep, every sidelong glance, every carefully dropped clue, until this story decides what it wants to be next. For now, remember this, the lesson carved into last night like initials on a tree, sometimes a decade of noise can be undone by 10 minutes of truth. Sometimes a single picture can pry open a window the world thought painted shut. And sometimes, when the night is still enough, love needs only the smallest crack to find its way back in. So sleep, if you can. Dream of light and laughter and that necklace shining where it always wanted to be. And when morning comes, we will be here, together, listening for the next tremor, ready to catch the next signal they send. Good night from Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the place where we keep watch over the stories that refuse to fade, and where we believe, stubbornly and sweetly, that the heart always remembers the road home.